What is going on, Flames fans? Welcome back to the Shutdown in Flames podcast. That's part of Flames Nation. It's good to be back. It's we're not way into the season yet, but the season is underway. Got some good things to talk about. We were thinking about kind of what we wanted to talk about, and Robert brought up a good point. It's hard to think of ideas when things are going so well. So we'll start. Robert, how are you? First of all, tell us where you are. I know your background now is a little different, but we noticed before you changed it, like, holy, you're not where you normally are. Tell us first of all, how are you and what's going on? Where the hell are you?
No, I'm good. Life's good. I escaped the rain from Vancouver and down in Arizona for a little over a week. A nice little vacay, playing some golf, drinking some beers, eating some good food, enjoying the sun. Life is incredible.
I wish I could say I feel bad for you, but
Oh God, no.
things sound pretty good in the Robert department right now.
Oh, people down here in Arizona, they have it so easy. Like, just what a spot. Just spectacular weather all the time. Everything's nice. Everything's new. Amazing restaurants. Like, come on. I got to figure out a way to get down here full time.
You gonna try to make your way to Mullet Arena?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're trying to go to the Florida Panther game. So we go see Matthew Tkachuk, hopefully. And that'll be quite the experience.
You know what? As much as people want to poo-poo on Mullet Arena and the Yotes situation, they posted a picture today and I retweeted it and I put a little comment. It actually looks like a pretty sweet facility. Like, if you can get around the 5,000 seat setup, it actually looks like pretty nice. Like,
it looks phenomenal.
Right? Like,
yeah.
And like, the more I think about how intimate that experience would be, like when you're shoulder to shoulder with a bunch of drunk college kids and however many Coyotes fans there are, like, talk about how cool that would be. Like, I bet you that place, like the roof will probably come off that place. I know I'm gonna get pooped on for that because people are gonna say that there's no Yotes fans, but like, if that thing's packed, that's gonna be a fun barn
for sure. Well, it'd be like watching NHL hockey at like a WHL arena.
I just think about Drumheller, like, obviously biased, like being the play-by-play guy, but like, that's a small AJHL barn, and when it is full, that place is loud, and it is a lot of fun to be in that environment in Drumheller. And speaking of the AJHL, we'll go over to my counterpart in the AJHL South, Mr. Noah Adler. How you doing, good sir?
Auddie, Robert, everybody watching or listening. The Flames are 5-1. It is a great start. And this is the best start in franchise history since ever. Because it's never happened before since the Flames were in Atlanta. Things are going well right now. The Flames are rolling. Let's go here. And we got the Battle of Alberta on Saturday. I am pumped. Let's do this thing.
Oh yeah, what a time to be alive. It's funny. Robert talked about just how, like I said before, just like, it's hard to think of ideas when things are going so well, and things are going well. The Flames' most recent victory against the Pittsburgh Penguins, probably the best they've looked all year, like as a complete group. I don't know about you guys. They looked, it's no secret that I'm also a Penguins fan, and people saw me at the Dome wearing my Pens jersey and rooting for the Pens. But it was a good time to be a Pens and Flames fan because the Flames looked damn good in that game against Pittsburgh, who also look really good to start this year as well.
What was the reaction to you wearing the Pens jersey? Did anybody come up to you and say anything?
No, I kind of like wanted to keep a low profile. I was like, there's enough people that know, and not like, this isn't like a boast, but there's like enough people that I know and people who know me that, I see a lot of people I know at Flames games now. And it's like, I kept a low profile. I did see some people that I know, but I kind of did the old, like, you can't see it if you're listening back, but like the old hand over the face so that nobody saw me. But, I as a Pens Flames fan, I'm happy. I've seen the Penguins win 3 Stanley Cups in my lifetime. It's time for the Flames. It's time for the Flames.
Oh, absolutely.
So, to answer your question, it was a bit of, especially given the score, like, it was just like, I don't know. I tried to bury my face a little bit. I didn't wear a coat. I should have wore a coat. I actually tweeted out I should have went and bought a Flames jersey and just flipped it on in the the first intermission, because the Penguins were just doing nothing. But yeah, it was a fun game. From a Flames perspective, excuse me. What a game. Like, everything looked good. They were dominant. Jacob Markstrom, finally like kind of showed up. I know
He's
a
back.
lot of people have
He's
been
back.
on Jacob Markstrom. That's it. Yeah, throw the old Harry Potter meme of Cornelius Fudge saying he's back. But all my nerds will get that one. But yeah, like a lot of people, and rightly or wrongly, a lot of people were on this guy starting the year. Like he maybe didn't get the greatest of starts. Maybe he was battling something. He kind of silenced the haters a little bit there. Adler, what did you think of Jacob Markstrom against the Penguins?
Well, I'm just going to say this right here, right now. I didn't see the game because I was obviously at
you were doing Canucks.
I was doing the Calgary Canucks that evening, but I heard that, he looked really, really solid on that game against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And I don't know why he's been the whipping boy so far to start the season. I don't know if it's because of the series against the Oilers and whatnot, but I think he's looked fine. And I don't think you need as dominant of goaltending as you did last year. You just need maybe like, I don't know, I'm not going to say like sub 900 goaltending you need in order to be a good team, but you just need sort of average goaltending and then you're fine. Like you've got a great team in front of you. Like what more do people want?
Well, if anybody's proof of that, I think it's the reigning Cup champions Colorado Avalanche. You just need like good goaltending at best. The rest of that team carried them. I mean, all due respect to Darcy Kemper and Alexander Georgiev, was it even Georgiev and Francouz? I don't know, whatever.
It was Kemper and Francouz. Last year.
So either way, all due respect to that, like if anybody can be a testament to that, it's the reigning Cup champions. But
absolutely,
that said, you still probably want decent goaltending, and Jacob Markstrom is a very good goaltender. So it's good to see him kind of find his way.
I was just going to say, if it wasn't for Shesterkin, Markstrom wins the Vezina last year.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And like I like the word Noah used there. Like Markstrom was just very solid. I find with Jacob Markstrom, when he's playing his best, he's not necessarily making like all like those 10 bell saves and all that kind of stuff, diving all over his crease. It's usually when he's just steady, playing rock solid hockey. And I thought he did that against Pittsburgh. And the nice thing with Markstrom is like the team in front of him is so good defensively that he doesn't have to be, the best player on the ice, like kind of like Shesterkin was in New York last season. The way Sutter has this team playing defensively, the way they check, they don't give up a lot of high danger chances. And Markstrom doesn't have to be all that great. He's just got to make those kind of clutch, timely saves. And he's done that the last couple games against Carolina and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that Penguins game's evidence of not giving up many high danger chances. Just look at, the eye test and analytics kind of went hand in hand there in terms of giving up high danger chances and all that good stuff. Just because like Pittsburgh had nothing, they had nothing, and it's all due credit to the way the Flames played defensively. I think Huberdeau played a great defensive game. I think it was probably one of his best games as a Flame as well. He looked great. Everybody looked great. They keep things rolling. We move, baby. We move. But before we go any further, just a quick note from our sponsors of today's episode, Shred the North. A landmark winter event is coming to Edmonton. No playoff run needed. Come bear witness to the inaugural Style Experience, the largest stadium big airboard snowboard contest in Canada. Kick back in comfort with food, drink, and family, or fire it up with your friends. We have something for everyone. To learn more about the Style Experience, head to shredthenorth.ca and visit Ticketmaster to purchase your tickets today. Okay, boys, speaking about the blue line, I just wanted to quickly touch on something before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's episode. Just moments ago, we're recording this on Thursday, October the 27th. So by the time you listen to it, it'll be Friday. But just moments ago, maybe not moments, probably close to an hour ago. But either way, Steinberg had Yuso Valimaki on Flames Talk. And it was really, really nice to hear from Yuso after his waiver claim to the Arizona Coyotes. The best thing that stuck out to me was when he said, I actually tweeted it. He said, I'm finally enjoying hockey again. And not that we're going to park too much time for this, but just pumped to hear that Yuso Valimaki is enjoying his time in the state of Arizona, where you are right now, Robert. So if you see our boy Yuso, say hello from us. Averaging 17 minutes a night right now, just what the guy needed, just what the doctor ordered for a player like Yuso Valimaki, and we wish him all the best. And if you boys want to say something quickly about that, I'll turn the floor over to you, Robert. You can start.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm very happy for Yuso that he's now getting NHL minutes again. Because I mean, he's a really good player. Like I remember, I went to school in Victoria, and I remember watching Yuso come up and play the Royals a couple times, and he was like the best player on the ice. Like he was so smart. He was the captain on the Tri-City Americans. I think he was the captain of the Finnish junior team.
He
like,
was.
There was so much promise there, not only on the ice but off the ice, like from like a leadership and the character standpoint. So it sucked that it did not work out in Calgary. Like really, really too bad. I honestly thought he was going to be a slam dunk guaranteed top 4 defenseman for the Flames for a long time, especially after seeing him in that 18-19 season, but things just haven't gone his way. And I'd be curious to know if the reason why he wasn't having fun in Calgary just because he wasn't playing in the NHL, or was there like the Daryl Sutter effect? Because I know Daryl was pretty hard on him. Was there other stuff going on behind the scenes there that we don't know about?
It's hard to read into, but very subtly, it seemed from his comments that he kind of beat around the bush a little bit. And maybe I'm reading into it a little too much, but he kind of beat around the bush, not throwing Daryl under the bus, but I interviewed him on a now defunct show that I was on before, but he knew exactly what Daryl wanted. He knew the kind of room he held, the kind of style of play that he expected. And he made a comment in his interview today about, the coach in Arizona, and he doesn't hold you to too high of a not that was the exact words, I'm paraphrasing, but he kind of made a comment about, it's nice that, he said he doesn't expect you to be perfect. He just expects you to do your best. And that was kind of like a bit, if I'm maybe reading it as a bit of a jab, I don't know if you guys would as well, but a bit of a jab at the way that Daryl kind of expects his players to be great. And that's something he said to me when I interviewed him, was Daryl has very, very high expectations. And that's no secret. We all know Daryl Sutter hockey, and we all know the kind of hockey he likes his team to play. So I think the Daryl factor is definitely there when talking about Yuso Valimaki and his tenure with the Calgary Flames.
Well, he's super hard on young players, and we see that all the time. Like, he's been really hard on Dylan Dubé. He was hard on Andrew Mangiapane a little bit last year. I know he had him kind of playing like a 3rd, 4th line role at some nights. So he's hard on his young guys, and doesn't really surprise me to hear that he was really tough on Yuso based off those comments.
Yeah, either way, I messaged Pat right away. I was like, dude, hell of an interview. Just love the guy. Valimaki, like from a character perspective, just like one of the nicest dudes I've had the privilege of talking to in the league and within the organization. I'm going to miss him. I like from a character perspective, I'm going to miss the guy. I do miss the guy already. I'm just happy for him that he's enjoying his time in Arizona. And I'm glad that he's getting the opportunity that he wants and that he probably deserves given his injury history and all that stuff. Adler, anything on Valimaki before we transition?
For me, as I've always said it's like he needed a fresh new start somewhere else, because he had obviously, it looked like he had so much promise when he was drafted, and then the injury kind of completely derailed things, the pandemic, and then obviously things about Daryl. So, I mean, good for him. This is a fresh new start, and we'll see how this pays off. And I mean, they're on a rebuilding team, so he can really take advantage of that and really get to the level where he probably should have been 2 years ago.
Yeah, tough road back for Yuso, but we're glad to see him doing well. Mm-hmm. 2 points in 4 games, by the way, boys. Good on the young man.
Good start.
Great start. Battle of Alberta, boys. By the time this episode airs, it's going to be Friday, the 28th of October. So the Battle of Alberta will be tomorrow, our second of 3. Only 3 battles of Alberta this season, which
is a travesty.
It is a travesty. It sucks. And I think this is, the first one was in Edmonton, so this is going to be the only one in Calgary, if I'm not mistaken.
Or no, 2 in Calgary and 1 in Edmonton.
Okay, that was my thought. But anyway, they're gonna play 2 or 1 more in Calgary after this one.
Yeah.
But we love a good Battle of Alberta, boys. We love grinding our friends over at Oilers Nation and obviously the team as well. One of the things in the first Battle of Alberta this year that kind of took everybody by surprise, and actually we recorded right before the last Battle of Alberta. Adler wasn't on that one, but Terenjot was the goaltending, because we all thought for sure it was going to be Jacob Markstrom. And then the Pat Steinberg tweet comes out showing that Dan Vladar got the start. He gets the win as well in the first Battle of Alberta. But I want to do a bit of a round table. We'll start with you, Robert. Who do you think will start, and who do you think will start?
Yeah, I mean, two different things there, because Daryl Sutter was talking to the media today, and he kind of gave like a little mixed message. So he said, I think it's pretty clear who our number one goalie is, and he's going to play a lot of games this year. So like, you know, he didn't come out and say, oh, Jacob's starting on Saturday or Dan's starting on Saturday, but he's almost kind of like making an excuse or, you know, really pointing out that Jacob's the guy, even if they do end up going with Dan Vladar for a second time against the Oilers this season. Me personally, I would start Jacob Markstrom because, like I said in that previous episode, if the Flames are going to win the Pacific Division and go deep in the playoffs, they're likely going to have to go through Edmonton. And I want Markstrom being prepared, and I want him playing games against Edmonton in the regular season and not having to play them for like the first or second time since the playoffs last season in these upcoming playoffs. I just think that there is a little bit of kind of like a mental part of the game when it comes to goaltending. I think the mental part is probably the most prevalent of any position in hockey. And I think he needs to kind of get over that, because that was pretty devastating what happened to him in the playoffs last year. Like that was not fun. The entire hockey world was watching that series, and he got shelled. And the team wasn't very good in front of him. Yeah, let's face it. But yeah, I would be getting him in net for every single start. But like, kind of based off what Daryl was saying, like the clues Daryl was giving today, it wouldn't surprise me if they went back to Vladar.
Yeah, I think for me, I'll go jump over to you, Noah, in just a moment here. But for me, I think both of the answers to my question are Jacob Markstrom. I think he should start, and I think he will start. Talk about like getting the confidence back in. That Penguins game was huge for him. He's kind of found his rhythm again. He looked great in that one. I think you give him the Oilers and you try to get that, especially to fight that demon of, you know, going back to last year's playoffs. And you talk about the mental side of things, just how much of a mental blow that was for him. Cause like Noah said, even about how it's been so far this year, he's kind of been the whipping boy. And what better way to kind of get back in your groove and stick it to all the Markstrom haters than to come out and get a big win against Edmonton in the Battle of Alberta on home ice in front of your home, in front of your home fans. I think it's just a perfect recipe to get your mental side of things kind of back up to par. So for me, I'm going Markstrom for both. Noah, are you going to try to throw a curveball in here, or do you agree with the consensus so far?
Yeah, no, you know what? No curveballs for me. I'm going to be going Markstrom, on Saturday against the Oilers. Like, you have to play him at some point against the Oilers. Like, that's just it. Like, you have to have him face that fear and roadblock, because as Robert said, if you're going to win the Stanley Cup and go deep in the playoffs, you're going to have to get past Edmonton. And, this is the litmus test here for Markstrom. Absolutely. And if he can get that over that hurdle against the Oilers, watch out.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're all kind of on the same page with that. And, you hope for the best, because it's this team and it's Jacob Markstrom. We love the guy, and we just want those demons gone, man. It was a bad postseason. So hopefully this is kind of, or not postseason. I guess we could say it was a bad
series, because he was great against Dallas, but it was. Then obviously the Oilers, it all went down.
It was something else. It was something else.
Well, the thing is too, like if the Flames were playing 5 or 6 games against the Oilers this year, I would have no issue with them starting Vladar a couple times. Like that doesn't really matter. But the fact they only play 3 times and Vladar's already played the 1. So, I mean, simple math. You only have 2 chances left for Jacob Markstrom to get his game back together against Edmonton. So that's why I really want to see him play, just because there's not very many opportunities left.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think it would be a shock to me if he doesn't start. I know we kind of talked about it last time before the last Battle of Alberta that would, was a consensus that we were going to start Markstrom. And then the curveball was Vladar, obviously. But kind of want to quickly pivot and talk a bit about the Oilers now. The Flames played on Tuesday at the Saddledome against the Penguins, and then don't play again until Saturday in that game against Edmonton. All right, so the Oilers played St. Louis last night. They get the win in St. Louis. They play Chicago tonight on the second half of a back-to-back, and then they play Calgary on Saturday. So that's, if my math adds up, and I'm not great at math, that's 3 games in 4 nights for the Edmonton Oilers. They're going to have tomorrow being Friday. If you're listening to it now, it would be tonight. They're going to have tonight off. And then they're going to be back at the Scotiabank Saddledome on Saturday. So if you ask me, I think it's the Flames got to take this one. It's going to be a tired group. They got a bit of travel in there, and I think that the Flames have to pounce on this opportunity.
Yeah, like I would have to say, like you have to get on the Oilers early in that game. Like you got to score as many goals as possible. You got to take the win out of their sails early, and as you said, like they're going to be tired. They're going to be coming off of 2 other games on the road. So like, yeah, I mean, you have got to pounce on the Oilers early on Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, the key in that game is just going to be not to take penalties against Edmonton, because I feel like at 5-on-5 with the way the Flames are playing right now, they're going to be able to wear Edmonton down throughout the game. And if that game stays at 5-on-5, I think the Flames, they have a very, very good chance of winning that. But the worst thing you could do is take some penalties against Edmonton, a tired Edmonton team, put them on the power play where they don't have to skate around as much and exert as much energy, and let them go to work. So, I mean, it's probably an obvious thing to say, don't take penalties against Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, but I feel like that applies even more for Saturday's Battle of Alberta based off their travel schedule.
And I think the Penguins game is a good kind of callback to that. The Penguins played in Edmonton the night before, obviously tired. It was it's a quick trip to Calgary after that, but it's the second half of a back-to-back. And Calgary, they put their foot on the pedal. They didn't let up all game. I think if they play the same way they did against the Penguins, who at this point, I think are a better team than the Edmonton Oilers. I think that they can, I think it should be a pretty easy one I don't want to say easy, but it should be a pretty good outcome for the guys in the Flaming Sea. So
let's be honest. Let's be honest here. No game in the regular season is easy, whether that team is good or bad.
No, which is why I wanted to correct myself. It's
right.
How many times in the bubble, or not the bubble, the Canadian division, did we say that it was going to be a scheduled win against Ottawa? And then Ottawa, I'm pretty sure, won the season series against Calgary that year. And that was a bad Sens team. That was a goddamn bad Sens team. And they mopped the. It's funny because I remember a couple of members of the media who won't be named put down like that. Those were like free wins on the bingo card for the Flames, and it didn't end up going so well. Seeing as Ottawa did a really good job of closing out Calgary in the Canadian division that year. Okay, Robert, I'll let you start with this one. You kind of put for your Battle of Alberta talk, just talking about stars needing to step up or stars that need to step up. So I'll let you take the reins on transitioning into that.
Well, yeah, I think it's important that 2 guys in particular, I really think Jonathan Huberdeau and Elias Lindholm, I really want them to step up on Saturday and put in a really good performance. Because since Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl have come into the Battle of Alberta, they've consistently had those games where they completely dominate Calgary. And through those years, we haven't really seen that with Calgary's big guns. Like, Gaudreau and Tkachuk had a couple of good games last season, but like aside from that, going back, 4 or 5 years, there weren't a lot of dominating performances from the big guys. And I think that's important because it's a huge stage for these new Calgary Flame players. And, Jonathan Huberdeau and Elias Lindholm, they haven't got off to the best start this season. I mean, they're still putting up some numbers, but it's still not where the production probably needs to be if they're going to be like that elite Stanley Cup winning team. So I would just love to see those 2 guys step up and almost pull like one of those McDavid or Draisaitl performances, where they get 3 goals or, Leon Draisaitl gets 4 assists or something like that. Like, let's see Huberdeau and Lindholm kind of team up and do that for the Flames this weekend.
Yeah, I agree. Not that, and like you said, not that they've been playing terrible, but I think just everybody expected more off the jump. And I get it. There's a lot of like little factors we've talked about before, like Huberdeau playing with 2 left-hand shots, or left-hand
2
shots,
righties,
or 2 righties when he's that he's not used to, stuff like that, little things, and chemistry sometimes takes time. It's not always going to be Kadri, Mangiapane, Dubé, where like it just seems like it clicks and it's a match made in heaven and it's the best line that this team has. Sometimes these things take time, and I'm not really willing to write this line off right away. No. It's far too early. Like, we're going to be 7 games in by the time that they play this Battle of Alberta. So I'm not willing to write things off just yet. I think it's like I said, things take time. It's not always linear. If that's a good way of putting it, things aren't always linear like that. Chemistry is not linear. There's ups and downs, ebbs and flows. So
And every player goes through that throughout the season
Right.
too. Like every player goes through their 7 to 12 game streak where they're not playing great hockey. So every player is going to go through that this year. Maybe those two guys are kind of in that little slump right now, but they're both so good. They're both elite. They're both going to get out of it. It would just be a lot of fun if they could kind of get out of that slump on Saturday on Hockey Night in Canada against, McDavid and Draisaitl at the Dome. That would be pretty awesome.
Right. And once the gears start turning and everything starts clicking, we're going to look back halfway through the season and say, why did we even have this conversation? Because we knew it was going to happen all along. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's poised to be a good one. I'm excited for that too. The Stars, obviously Huberdeau, it's going to be a big one for him on such a big scale. I'm looking forward to it. Adler, final thoughts on that?
I'm pretty much in total agreement, with Robert, where I think the players that need to step up the most are both Huberdeau and Lindholm. And they've both really struggled to start the year. And I think that's mainly because of the fact that they're still trying to find the chemistry. And even as you mentioned, Auddie, it's like these things take time. Like they don't click overnight. Like it's a process.
Absolutely. And we know that it's going to, like I said, we're going to look back at this halfway through the year and we're going to say, that was, we're just trying to fill some dead air here on.
Why did we even talk about that?
Exactly. All right, boys, our good friends over at Betway got some pretty sweet bets and odds lined up. I got first and foremost, I got to give a shout out to our boy Flash. His Cash with Flash articles are, first of all, what a fucking name. That guy does not miss with his all that and more on Beyond the Box Score and Cash with Flash. Like the guy doesn't miss with the article series names. And what a good idea to use the odds and all that stuff, all the props over at our good friends over at Betway to put out some good content. I know a lot of people are iffy on the sports gambling and stuff like that. I know some of us do partake, some of us don't. Just play within your limits. That's all I'm going to say about that. Just be responsible. Try your best. There's outlets out there to help you if you do think you have a problem. So just be sure to use those as well. But we are going to talk about a couple props that kind of tickle our fancy, if you will. I've been throwing a little bit of money down lately on some NFL and some NHL. I've won some, I've lost some, but some Battle of Alberta props that maybe intrigue you, Robert. I'll start with the ones that you have, and then I'll segue into mine.
So we were talking about Jonathan Huberdeau. I think he's poised to have a breakout game. So my first Flames prop bet is going to be Jonathan Huberdeau, 2 or more points. I think it's just his time to break out. So I like that. One more I'll give is Elias Lindholm to score at least 1 goal. I think he's due for a goal playing with Huberdeau, whether that's on the power play 5-on-5. I think he's due. So give me Lindholm to score at least 1 goal all day long. Go those 2.
I like that. I like those. Before we hopped on, I'm like, oh, are you going to parlay those? And you're like, no, let's go. Let's pump the brakes a little bit here. We'll take, we'll see how that goes. But I'm going to be riding a couple as well. My first one has to do with Huberdeau as well. I have him for an anytime assist. I just think that I think it's eventually going to click that line and the way they're moving the puck, the way they move the puck in that Penguins game, he's so crafty with it. And I think Lindholm's going to finally get there and he's finally going to get some tucks and that kind of plays back to your last prop there. But put me down for Huberdeau anytime assist. And then my second one I'm going to ride is a Kadri anytime goal. I think he gets up for these games. He's been hot lately.
So good. 2
goals in the Penguins game. He is I think he's on pace for 123 points or something. Not that that's going to happen, but he's scoring well.
You never know.
It could happen. Yeah. You know what? There was a certain person who said that Johnny Gaudreau would never get to 100 points again. So, people get proven wrong in media, and we know that ever so dearly here on Shotdown and Flames. But yeah, put me down for a Kadri anytime goal. The guy's been scoring lately. He gets up for games like this. This is his cup of tea, and he's going to put on a performance. I think the Flames are going to. I honestly think the Flames are going to probably have their way with Edmonton. This iteration of the Battle of Alberta. And I hope that both these props hit so that Auddie makes a little bit of money. Don't take this as gambling advice as well. This is just stuff that we like. We are not betting and gambling experts, so don't put next month's mortgage payment or rent or anything on Auddie and Robert's picks.
That's not what you were telling me before the show, Auddie. You were telling me to put my mortgage on Nazem Kadri score in the goal, and I listened to you, so it better work.
No, those are the ones that you're just supposed to like kind of listen to. You're supposed to go on FlamesNation.ca, read Cash with Flash, or make was it Cash with Flash? Make Cash with Flash. Either way, you got to go on that one and make your money over there. But Adler, I don't know if you're much of a gambler. What do you think of our picks for the Flames game?
Not bad at all. I'm definitely not a sports gambler. I think people have seen my tweets
Smart man.
before to know.
Smart man.
Yeah, that's good for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be broke like within a day if I started gambling on sports. But anyway, I do like the bets. I'm going to put down a little bit and say Kadri 3 or more points against the Oilers on Saturday
or
night.
more.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just like Kadri's going to just, for these types of games, he's going to absolutely just show up and he's going to be ready to go, especially with the atmosphere at the Saladome for the Battle of Alberta. Like, let's go, man.
All right, shit, yeah, okay. Well, put your mortgage payments down on Adler's so that you don't yell at me or Robert for if it doesn't hit. It's not on us. Know what? You know what? That's gonna be this. That might be a new segment on Shot Down in Flames. We'll give our picks as the sports gamblers. Then we'll go to Noah and see how his non-sports gambling props hit throughout the year. So we're gonna say right now he's saying Kadri 3 or more points. We'll come back next week and we'll see how he did on that one before he gives his next one. So don't take gambling advice from us unless you want to potentially lose some money. Let's transition from the Battle of Alberta. We'll wrap up a couple quick points here get to a couple quick points here before we wrap up today's episode of Shot Down in Flames. Favorite Flame to start the year. I love this one. Robert, great topic idea as always. Just a backbone to the Shot Down in Flames podcast in terms of coming up with the ideas. I'm gonna start because I don't want you two fuckers to take mine. I'm taking Nazem Kadri, baby. Oh. My favorite Flame to start the year, as everybody called him in Toronto, Nazem the Dream. Mispronouncing his name drove me nuts. Nazem Kadri, he's been just a treat, boys. Like such a fun player, and we knew that he was going to fit in so well on this team in this system, and fit like a glove. Just been a treat to watch. And I'm just super impressed with Mr. Kadri there. Noah, you seemed upset when I took Kadri from you, so I'll go over to you next.
You know what? Just looking at the roster here right now, just trying to remember the names. I mean, I think one guy who has impressed me the most is Rasmus Andersson so far, but Michael Stone, man. Yeah, Michael Stone is an absolute beauty, man. Give this guy $12.5 million.
Okay,
man.
Okay. Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. If any NHL executives are also listening, we'll double this up. Don't take your sports advice or gambling advice from Noah, and don't take your NHL executive advice from Noah either. Otherwise, every team would be broke. I'm just kidding. Go on.
No, so I mean, we saw it last year with Stone, right? When Daryl came back, and he just fits tremendously with Daryl Sutter's system. So I've been a big fan of Michael Stone's this year to start so far, and hope he keeps up the good play.
It's funny because they're doing all this without Shillington.
Yeah, so I know.
What do you do? What do you do when Shillington comes back?
Yeah.
Like Michael Stone's in Shillington's spot right now, right? Or so we think.
Mm-hmm.
What do? Do you take Stone out of like I think Stone's been fine.
I don't know how you take him out of the lineup with the way he's been playing right now. Like I think he leads all Flames defensemen, like most underlying numbers. He's got 5 points in 6 games. Mm-hmm. Like he's an offensive threat as well as a defensive threat. Like I don't know how you take him out at this point.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way. With the way Stone has been playing right now, there's no way you take him out when Shillington comes back.
This dude's on pace to win the Norris, boys.
No.
You can't take him out of the lineup.
But but no, like, I mean, when Shillington comes back, like, I think you've got yourself in a tough predicament, but it also can be a good thing too, to sort of like, put both Stone and Shillington moving up and down the lineup. And, if there's an injury that comes up and whatnot on the D core, then Shillington can swoop right in.
I want Stone playing every night right now.
Yeah,
I'll tell you right now.
Me too.
Like, I want him playing until he proves he shouldn't be playing, as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly.
Noah's right too. I mean, they're going to run into injury trouble at some point, you'd think.
Oh yeah.
So like, it's great that they have that depth, that they have him, and they got Milosh down there too. Like,
yeah,
Flames, they're pretty loaded back there.
I would be shocked if the Flames went all of this season without a lot of injury troubles as they did last year. Like, I would be really shocked.
Yeah,
because it's bound to happen.
It doesn't happen often, and
it's
it's bound to be an issue. But Robert, your favorite Flame to start the year?
So yeah, I mean, I love the Kadri pick. The Stone pick's pretty awesome. I'll shout out Michael Backlund. I think Michael Backlund's been fantastic in that third line center role. I mean, he probably should have been there the last few years, but he's finally there, and he's doing an outstanding job. His actual counting numbers, like goals and assists, aren't all that great yet. He's only got 2 goals, but those 2 goals have been pretty big. The first goal he scored was against Edmonton to kind of kick off that game on Hockey Night in Canada. And then the second goal he scored was that game winner against Vegas. Yeah. So, maybe like the goals and assist production is not necessarily there yet, but he has scored a couple big goals. But where he's really making an impact is on defense. He's been great on the penalty kill. He's got a good face-off percentage. And Backlund, I'm going to get a little nerdy here. He ranks first amongst Flames forwards in expected goals for percentage, scoring chances for percentage, high danger scoring chances for percentage. So he's leading the Flames among forwards in all those statistical categories too. So I think he's been outstanding and everything that the Flames could have asked for from that third line center role.
Well, and too, it's like when Kadri signed, like, it made this group's center depth so much better, because I don't consider Michael Backlund to be a second line center anymore, considering where he's at in his career. Like, I consider him to be more within that bottom 6 third line center. So with Kadri here, you have Lindholm, Kadri, Backlund, and then possibly Trevor Lewis on that fourth line center. Your center depth is so much better now that Nazem Kadri is here. And Backlund I mean, let's be honest. He's a little overpaid for a third line center, but he's had a really great start, as Robert's mentioned.
Yeah, no, definitely. I love the picks, boys. And before we wrap up today's episode, we never really got to talk about Reverse Retro 2.0. The pedestal is back, the worst kept secret in all of Flames Twitter and all that good stuff.
Blasty being back was a pretty,
that's true,
not so great kept secret either.
That's true. But we're happy to see a pedestal for the most part. Robert, I'm not sure. I can't remember if you liked it or not. We'll start with you.
I think it's like a fun version of what they used to do in the 90s. Like it's kind of cool. I'm not a huge fan of like the black as like the primary color. I wish they would have gone red with it, because I mean, just red's like the Calgary Flames color, So now the fact that they have 2 black jerseys for this season, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of, but it's fun overall. My only issue is just with the jersey schedule. So the Flames, I pointed this out on Twitter. The Flames are going to wear it 4 home games in a row at the beginning and middle of December, and then they're not going to wear it for the rest of the year. So like, to me, that just feels like a total sell as many jerseys before Christmas, and then we're never going to wear them again. See you later. So it almost feels like a total cash grab by the team.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, they're a business. They're trying to make money. I appreciate that. But could you not have like spread that jersey schedule across like the whole season? Like, let the fans have some fun with it. But it seems like a total like kind of disingenuous like cash grab. It's not.
Well, it could have been like the Ducks. I think it was the Ducks in Reverse Retro 1.0. I think they only wore it twice. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, twice.
But, yeah, it was just 2 times.
Yeah, so like whatever. I do agree with you, but I'm excited. I will say the pedestal, like, up until recently, was like my least favorite. I won't tell Adler this, but Blasty had to grow on me. I was not a Blasty guy from the start.
I remember.
I know you remember. You keep
taking receipts.
Yeah, he keeps the receipts. I was like, oh God, like what is this? Like, I'm not a huge, but now it's like, oh my God, I love it. And I think it's got everything to do with Noah just stuffing it down my throat on Twitter. But pedestal grew on me. I like it. I like the black. I like the white C. I think Popo and the guys did did a great job bringing this thing to life. The one thing I will say, though, I did see a concept of a pedestal using the current colors, and it was fucking sweet.
Yeah.
It was sweet. So I will say, after seeing that, I wish we got that, but I am content with it. Noah, what are your thoughts?
Two Black Flames jerseys in the rotation this season. I love it. Let's go, man. I mean, as Auddie said, beginning of this conversation, it was like, besides Blassie probably as well, it was like the worst kept secret around Flames Twitter and around, these parts when it came to jerseys and whatnot. But I want to actually ask you guys a question. What is your favorite reverse retro besides Pesto?
Oh, geez. I got a couple.
Okay.
I got a couple for sure. The bias in me says RoboPen, but I think a lot of people are high on RoboPen. I also really like the white Pooh Bear. Like, I think Pooh Bear was meant to be on a white jersey. Yes. Like, it looks so good. So it'd probably be a toss up between those two.
The Florida Panthers made a pretty cool reverse retro, kind of going with that light blue with the palm tree and stick kind of cross there. Like, it's almost like a little bit of like the Miami Vice sort of thing with those colors. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love it. I think that one's really cool. I think they knocked out of the park on that one.
Yeah. I will say I'm not like as overly pumped about RR 2.0. A lot of them kind of got leaked prior to kind of like the whole expansion draft thing.
Yeah.
But I am excited for them, but definitely not as excited as I was for Reverse Retro 1.0. But either way, I'm still excited. I love jerseys. I know we all love jerseys. Everybody loves new jerseys. So it's nice when a league that traditionally doesn't do stuff like this does stuff like this. Like, at least in the MLB they had the City Connect. Those jerseys were sweet. The NBA does a lot of city jerseys and stuff like that too. So the NHL doing reverse retro is definitely a sweet program that I hope they get a little more creative and do something different than the reverse retro sometime down the line. Like, a city jersey would be fucking awesome.
I'm wondering what that would look like from a Flames perspective, like a city jersey. Like, I'm actually very curious about that.
I will shout out Chris Wilson on Twitter. He's doing a City Connect series of concepts. So if you haven't seen his concepts, I think it's what's his handle?
Beavley 89.
Yeah, something like that. But look up Chris Wilson. You'll find him on Twitter. It's a bad plug, but he'll get over it if he's listening. Good stuff, boys. This was a lot of fun. I just want to thank everybody for listening. It's been a fun ride here on Flames Nation. We got a lot of good shows. Thanks to the Nation Network. Thanks to Flames Nation. Thanks to our sponsors. All that good stuff. This has been Shot Down in Flames. On behalf of Robert and Noah, my name is Auddie, and we will catch you on next week's episode.